Her ex-husband brought his new wife, then froze when a billionaire kissed her. The crystal champagne flute slipped from Nathan's hand, shattering on the marble floor. The entire ballroom turned, but he didn't notice. His eyes were locked on the couple at the center of the room. Lydia, his ex-wife, the woman he'd discarded like yesterday's newspaper, stood radiant in a midnight blue gown, her face glowing as Adrian Stone, the Adrian Stone, billionaire, philanthropist, the man every CEO wanted to meet, cupped her face with infinite tenderness. "You are everything," Adrian whispered, loud enough for the hushed crowd to hear, before kissing her like she was oxygen, and he'd been drowning. Nathan felt Vanessa's nails dig into his arm. "Isn't that your pathetic ex-wife?" Vanessa hissed. But there was nothing pathetic about Lydia now. She looked like a queen, like someone who'd found what she deserved, like someone who'd upgraded in ways that had nothing to do with money. The kiss ended, but Adrian kept Lydia close, his hand possessively on her waist as photographers rushed forward. That's when Lydia's eyes found Nathan's. No anger, no pain, just nothing. Like he was a stranger, like he'd never mattered at all. How had the woman he'd thrown away for not being enough become everything to a man who could have anyone? 3 years earlier, things had been different. Before we continue this emotional journey, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more stories about love, redemption, and finding your worth. 3 years earlier, Lydia Hart believed in the kind of love that conquers everything. She was 29, working as an art teacher at a local high school while doing freelance restoration work on weekends. Nathan Cole was her everything, her college sweetheart, her husband of 5 years, her best friend, or so she thought. Their apartment was small, cramped, filled with Nathan's business plans and Lydia's half-finished paintings. She'd given up her studio space so he could have a home office. It was temporary, they'd agreed, just until his startup took off. "Baby, I need to ask you something," Nathan had said one evening, his laptop balanced on his knees, surrounded by investor packets Lydia had helped him design. "What is it?" She was cooking dinner, pasta again, because it was cheap and they were saving every penny for his business. "There's this conference in San Francisco. Major investors will be there. It's a game-changer opportunity." "That's wonderful. When?" "Next month." "But..." He paused. That hesitation she'd learned meant he needed something. "The registration fee is $3,000, plus hotel, flights..." Lydia stirred the pasta, calculating. They had $5,000 in savings, her emergency fund, her safety net. "It's important?" she asked, though she already knew what she'd say. "It could change everything for us, Lyd. This is the break we've been waiting for." She turned off the stove, walked over, and kissed his forehead. "Then we'll make it happen." His face lit up. "Really? You're sure?" "Your dreams are my dreams," she said, meaning every word. That night, she didn't tell him about the art residency she'd been accepted to. 3 months in Florence, studying restoration techniques with masters, the opportunity of a lifetime. But the timing was wrong. Nathan needed her support, both emotional and financial. Florence would always be there. Their marriage, their future together, that's what mattered. She declined the residency the next day, telling herself she wasn't giving up her dream, just postponing it. Nathan went to San Francisco, called her every night, excited about connections, possibilities, the energy of success. Lydia painted in their tiny apartment, living vicariously through his enthusiasm. "There's this woman," he mentioned on the third night, "Vanessa Morrison. Her family owns Morrison Tech. She's been incredibly helpful, introducing me to everyone." "That's great," Lydia said, though something in his tone made her stomach tighten. "She really understands the business world, you know, speaking their language. It's like she was born for this." "Well, you're learning fast too." "Yeah, but it's different for people like her. They grow up in it." She was telling me about her first board meeting at 12 years old. Can you imagine? Lydia couldn't. Her childhood had been spent in her grandmother's garden, learning to see beauty in simple things. "Sounds intimidating." "No, it's fascinating. She's fascinating." That was the first crack, tiny, barely visible. But looking back, Lydia would recognize it as the beginning of the end. Nathan returned from San Francisco, changed, energized, critical. "We need to upgrade everything," he announced, looking around their apartment with new eyes. "This place doesn't say successful entrepreneur. It says home," Lydia offered quietly. "Home doesn't get investors." He bought new suits on credit, started going to networking events that Lydia wasn't invited to. "It's really more of a business thing, babe. You'd be bored." She spent those evenings painting, telling herself this was temporary. Success would calm him down. They'd find their rhythm again. 6 months later, Nathan's startup got its first major investment, $2 million. He called Lydia from the office, shouting with joy. "We did it, baby. We actually did it." "I'm so proud of you," she said, and she was. This was what they'd sacrificed for. "Vanessa's taking the whole team out to celebrate, that new rooftop place downtown. Should I meet you there?" A pause. "Oh, well, it's really a team thing. Investors and core staff. You understand?" She understood. She was understanding a lot lately. Nathan started coming home later. His clothes smelled different. Expensive cologne instead of the simple soap they'd always used. He criticized things he'd never noticed before. "You should do something with your hair," he said one morning, watching her get ready for school. "What's wrong with my hair?" "Nothing's wrong. It's just Vanessa was saying how important image is in business, first impressions and all that." "I'm a high school art teacher, Nathan, not a CEO." "I know, but you're my wife. People see you and make judgments about me." That was the second crack, wider now, harder to ignore. The firm grew. Nathan hired staff, leased a real office. Their bank account grew too, but somehow Lydia saw less of it. Nathan managed the finances now. "You focus on your art, babe. Let me handle the business stuff." She should have asked more questions, should have pushed back, but she trusted him. Love meant trust, didn't it? The night everything shattered started like any other. Nathan was at another late meeting. Lydia had spent the evening restoring an old painting she'd found at a flea market. A ship in a storm, beautiful in its darkness. Nathan's phone buzzed on the nightstand. He'd forgotten it. The screen lit up with a text. "Can't wait to feel you inside me again tomorrow, V." Lydia stared at the message until the screen went dark. Then she sat on their bed, and waited. Nathan came home at midnight, talking about quarterly projections and market expansions. He didn't notice his missing phone until he was getting ready for bed. "Have you seen my—" "It's on the nightstand." Her voice was calm, deadly calm. He picked it up, saw the message notification, and his face went white. "Lydia, how long?" "It's not what you—" "How long?" He sat down, deflated. 4 months. 4 months. While she'd been supporting him, believing in him, sacrificing for him, he'd been— "I want details," she said. "Why torture yourself?" "Because I deserved the truth, all of it." So he told her. The conference in San Francisco, it had started there. Vanessa had been everything he thought he needed, sophisticated, connected, born into the world he was desperately trying to enter. "And I'm not," Lydia said, not a question. "You're wonderful, Lyd. You're just not enough. Different. You're different. Small town, unsophisticated, embarrassing." "I never said embarrassing." "You didn't have to." She stood up, started pulling clothes from the closet. "What are you doing?" "Lydia, we can work through this. Go to counseling." She laughed, bitter and sharp. "Counseling? Nathan, you don't need counseling. You need a mirror. Take a good look at who you've become." "I'm successful. I'm everything we dreamed about." "No, you're everything you dreamed about. I dreamed about us, about love, about building something together. We did build something. You built something. On my back, with my savings, with my sacrifices." She turned to face him. "I gave up Florence for your conference. Did you know that? A 3-month residency with Maestro Giovanni, the man who restored the Sistine Chapel. I gave it up so you could go meet Vanessa." Nathan's face crumbled. "Lydia, I didn't know—" Because you never asked. You never ask about my dreams anymore. When did you last look at my paintings? When did you last ask about my day? When did you last see me as anything other than an accessory that doesn't match your new life? That's not fair. Fair? She zipped her suitcase. Was it fair when you took my grandmother's jewelry to pawn for startup capital? Was it fair when I worked double shifts to cover rent while you built your company? Was it fair when you were sleeping with another woman in the bed I bought with my teaching bonus? Where are you going? Away from you. Lydia, please, let's talk about this. We just did. Have you ever had someone undervalue your worth? Share your story in the comments below. The divorce was brutal. Nathan fought for everything, claiming his business success entitled him to their assets. Lydia, exhausted and broken, didn't fight hard. She took her art supplies, her clothes, and her grandmother's restored rocking chair, the one thing Nathan's lawyer couldn't figure out how to monetize. "You're making a mistake," Nathan said at the final hearing. "You'll never find someone who loves you like I did." "God, I hope not," Lydia replied. She left with nothing but her dignity. Nathan left with Vanessa on his arm and a smirk that said he'd won. Lydia drove to Crescent Bay, a small coastal town where her aunt had left her a tiny cottage. It wasn't much, needed work, leaked when it rained, had temperamental plumbing, but it was hers. No one could take it from her. She spent the first month crying, the second month angry, the third month numb. Then, because she needed money and routine, she took a job at the Crescent Bay Art Foundation, a small museum and restoration center run by an elderly woman named Margaret. "You're overqualified," Margaret said, reviewing her resume. "I'm also desperate," Lydia admitted. "Good. Desperate people work hard. Can you start Monday?" The work was quiet, solitary, perfect. Lydia spent her days bringing damaged paintings back to life. There was something therapeutic about it, taking something broken and making it whole again. She'd been there 3 months when Adrian Stone walked in. She didn't know who he was at first. Just a tall man in a simple sweater and jeans, standing in front of a painting she was restoring. A ship in a storm, ironically similar to the one she'd been working on the night she discovered Nathan's affair. "It's magnificent," he said quietly. "It will be," Lydia replied, not looking up from her work. "Right now it's just damaged." "Aren't we all?" Something in his tone made her look up. He had dark hair, slightly silvered at the temples, and eyes that held a sadness she recognized. "I suppose we are," she said. He watched her work for a few more minutes. "You're very gentle with it." Broken things require gentleness. Most people would just paint over the damage. Then they'd lose the history, the story. The damage is part of what makes it beautiful. He smiled. Small, sad. "I'm Adrian. Lydia. The new restoration artist. Margaret speaks highly of you." "You know Margaret?" "I fund the foundation." That's when she recognized the name. Adrian Stone, billionaire, tech genius, widow, the man who'd retreated from public life after his wife died in a car accident 3 years ago. "I should get back to work," she said, suddenly self-conscious. "Of course. I'll let you focus." But he didn't leave. He sat on a bench across the room, pulled out a book, and read while she worked. It should have been uncomfortable, but it wasn't. His presence was quiet, undemanding. After years of Nathan's constant need for attention and validation, Adrian's silence was a relief. He came back the next day, and the next, always with a book, always quiet, always watching her work with those sad, understanding eyes. On the 5th day, she finally asked, "Don't you have a company to run?" "I have people for that." "Must be nice. It's lonely." The honesty surprised her. "Sorry, that was rude of me." "No, it was honest. I appreciate honesty. It's rare in my world." "Why do you come here?" He was quiet for a long moment. "Because watching you restore these paintings reminds me that broken things can be made beautiful again. It gives me hope." "Hope for what?" "That maybe I can be restored too." They looked at each other across the room, two damaged souls recognizing something in each other. "Would you like to learn?" Lydia asked impulsively. Restoration, I mean. You'd teach me? If you're patient, it takes time. I have nothing but time. So she taught him, showed him how to clean centuries of grime from a canvas without damaging the paint underneath, how to match colors that had faded with age, how to fill cracks without erasing character. They worked side by side in comfortable silence, occasionally sharing observations about art, about life, about the strange peace of bringing beauty back to forgotten things. "My wife loved art," Adrian said one day, carefully cleaning a portrait's edge. "She would have loved this place." "Tell me about her." "Elena. She was light, pure light. Everything I'm not. She made me better, just by existing." "How long were you married?" 8 years, together for 10. He paused. "She wanted children. We were trying when the accident happened." "I'm sorry." "So am I. Sorry that she never got to be the mother she would have been amazing at. Sorry that I wasted time on work when I should have been with her. Sorry that the last thing I said to her was, 'I'll be home late,' instead of, 'I love you.'" Lydia's hand covered his. She knew. Did she? Or did she die thinking work was more important than her? Love isn't just words, Adrian, it's presence. And you're here 3 years later still grieving her. That's love. He looked at their joined hands. "What about you? Margaret mentioned you're divorced. Recently, my ex-husband decided I wasn't sophisticated enough for his new life. He's an idiot. He's successful. Success without soul is just emptiness with a bank account. Speaking from experience. Speaking from observation. I've met hundreds of successful people. Very few of them are actually happy." "Are you happy?" "I'm learning to be content. There's a difference." "What's the difference?" "Happiness comes and goes. Contentment stays. It's quieter, but more reliable." She understood that. Understood the value of quiet contentment after the chaos of trying to be everything Nathan wanted. Do you believe in second chances at love? Let me know in the comments. Weeks turned to months. Adrian officially hired Lydia to restore his private collection. Pieces he'd bought but never displayed, stored in the climate-controlled basement of his oceanfront home. The house was magnificent but cold. Like a museum, nobody visited. "When did you last have people over?" Lydia asked, setting up her workspace. "Elena's funeral." "Adrian, that was 3 years ago." "I know. You can't live like this." "I'm not living. I'm existing. There's a difference." "What's the difference?" "Living requires feeling. Existing just requires breathing." She turned from the painting to face him. "Then stop existing and start living." "I don't remember how." "Then I'll remind you." She started small, insisted they eat lunch together instead of separately, played music while they worked, opened windows to let in sea air and light. "Eleanor would hate what you've done to this place," she said one day. "What do you mean?" "You've turned it into a tomb. She wouldn't want that." "How do you know what she'd want?" "Because any woman who loved you enough to marry you wouldn't want you living like this." Adrian was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Nathan, that's your ex's name, right? He didn't deserve you." "How do you know?" "Because anyone who could let you go is a fool." The air between them shifted, became charged with possibility. "Adrian, I know, it's too soon, for both of us. I just wanted you to know that whoever made you feel like you weren't enough was wrong. You're more than enough. You're everything." That night, Lydia went home and cried. Not from sadness, but from the overwhelming feeling of being seen, really seen, not as someone's wife or support system, but as herself. The change was gradual. Adrian started smiling more. Lydia started painting again, her own work, not just restorations. They worked side by side, comfortable in their shared silence and occasional conversations. "You're different," Margaret observed one day, watching Lydia hum while working. "Am I?" "You're healing." "The paintings?" "Yourself." Margaret was right. Somewhere between teaching Adrian about restoration and watching him slowly come back to life, Lydia had started healing too. The storm changed everything. It came out of nowhere, sudden, violent, battering the coast with rain and wind. Lydia was at Adrian's house working late on a particularly damaged seascape. The power went out. "You can't drive in this," Adrian said, watching the trees bend nearly horizontal outside. "I can't stay here." "Why not? I have guest rooms." "Adrian." "Lydia, it's just a storm. Just a night." But they both knew it was more than that. She stayed. They sat by the fireplace, drinking wine, talking about everything and nothing. About art and loss, and the strange comfort of finding someone who understood your damage. "I haven't felt this comfortable with anyone since Elena," Adrian admitted. "I haven't felt this comfortable with anyone ever," Lydia replied. "Not even with Nathan. Especially not with Nathan. I was always trying with him, trying to be enough, trying to be better, trying to be what he needed. With you, I just am. You're perfect as you are. I'm broken. So am I. Maybe that's why we fit." The fire crackled, the storm raged, and in that warm circle of light, something shifted between them. Not dramatic or sudden, but inevitable, like the tide. Adrian kissed her first, soft, tentative, asking permission. Lydia answered by kissing him back, pouring into it all the tenderness she'd been storing up. When they pulled apart, both were crying. "I didn't think I could feel this again," Adrian whispered. "Neither did I. I'm scared. Me too. What if we're too damaged? What if we're exactly damaged enough?" They didn't sleep together that night, just held each other while the storm passed, two shipwrecked souls finding harbor in each other's arms. The next morning, embarrassed by their vulnerability, they tried to return to normal, professional, distant. It lasted exactly 3 days. "This is ridiculous," Adrian said, finding her in the museum workshop. "I can't stop thinking about you." "Adrian, I know we're both scared. I know we've both been hurt, but Lydia, I'd rather be scared with you than safe alone. I can't be hurt again. I won't hurt you." Nathan said that too. "I'm not Nathan." He stepped closer. "I see you, Lydia. The real you, the artist, the teacher, the woman who brings beauty back to broken things, the woman who brought me back to life. I see all of you, and you're magnificent. I'm ordinary. No, you're extraordinary in your authenticity, in your kindness, in your refusal to become bitter despite what he did to you." He touched her face gently. "I'm falling in love with you. I know it's too soon. I know it's complicated, but it's happening whether we acknowledge it or not." Lydia looked into his eyes and saw truth, not the convenient truth Nathan had offered, conditional and changing, but real truth, steady, unchanging. "I'm falling for you too," she admitted, "and it terrifies me." "Then be terrified with me." She kissed him then, in the middle of the workshop, surrounded by broken paintings and restoration tools, and it felt like coming home. They took it slow. Adrian courted her properly. Dinners, walks on the beach, afternoons in museums. He never pushed, never demanded, just consistently showed up. "You don't have to try so hard," Lydia told him after he'd driven 2 hours to bring her favorite coffee from a shop in the city. "I'm not trying, I'm just caring. What's the difference? Trying implies effort. Caring is just natural." She understood then what she'd never had with Nathan, someone for whom loving her wasn't work, but joy. 6 months into their relationship, Adrian asked her to move in. "It's too soon," she said automatically. "By whose timeline?" "Society's." "Society isn't in this relationship. We are. What if it ruins everything? What if it makes everything better?" She moved in the next month, not because he pressured her, but because going home to her cottage felt wrong. Adrian's house, their house, was where she belonged. The first morning waking up together officially, Adrian brought her coffee in bed. "You don't have to do that. I want to." "Nathan never..." She stopped, embarrassed. "I'm not Nathan," Adrian said gently. "And you're allowed to mention him. He was part of your life. Pretending he wasn't doesn't erase the pain he caused. Most men don't want to hear about exes. Most men aren't secure enough to handle it. I know who you are, Lydia. I know what we have. Nathan's shadow doesn't threaten me. That's when Lydia knew she loved him. Not falling in love, but fully, completely there. I love you, she said simply. Adrian set down the coffee, pulled her into his arms. I love you too. Have for months. Was just waiting for you to be ready to hear it. They spent the day in bed, not making love, but talking, planning, dreaming. Adrian wanted to travel, show her the art museums of Europe. Lydia wanted to open her own restoration studio. They both wanted quiet dinners and loud laughter, and the kind of love that grew stronger with time. No children, Lydia asked carefully. She knew it had been Elena's dream. I thought that door was closed, Adrian said, but with you, doors I thought were locked keep opening. We have time. All the time in the world. A year passed. Lydia's restoration work gained recognition. A piece she'd restored was featured in Art Monthly. Galleries started requesting her services. Adrian supported her completely, even converting part of the house into a professional studio. You don't have to do this, she said, watching contractors install specialized lighting. I want to. Your dreams matter, Lydia. They always have. The difference from Nathan was staggering. Where Nathan had seen her dreams as competition, Adrian saw them as essential. The gala invitation came on a Tuesday, a charity event in the city featuring restored works from various artists. Lydia's pieces would be displayed. We don't have to go, Adrian said, knowing the city held painful memories. I want to. It's time to stop hiding. You've never been hiding. You've been healing. There's a difference. What's the difference? Hiding is fear. Healing is courage. She kissed him. How did I get so lucky? Luck had nothing to do with it. We earned each other through pain and growth and choosing to try again. The night of the gala, Lydia stood in front of the mirror, nervous. The midnight blue gown Adrian had bought her was elegant, understated, perfect. But she still felt like the small-town girl Nathan had been embarrassed by. You're breathtaking, Adrian said from the doorway. I'm nervous. Why? What if he's there? Nathan. It's the kind of event he'd attend. Networking, social climbing. Adrian walked over, turned her to face him. If he's there, he'll see what he lost, and I'll be beside you, proud to be with the most remarkable woman in the room. You're biased. I'm right. They arrived at the gala together, Adrian's hand warm on her back. The ballroom was glittering, full of people who looked like they belonged. Lydia fought the urge to shrink. Head up, Adrian whispered. You're the talent here. They're just the audience. Her paintings were displayed prominently. 3 seascapes she'd restored, bringing them back from near destruction to vivid life. People gathered around them, murmuring appreciation. Extraordinary work, a critic said. The way you've maintained the original artist's intent while bringing fresh life. It's masterful. Thank you, Lydia said, Adrian's proud smile giving her confidence. They were discussing the technique when she heard it. That laugh she'd once loved, now sharp as glass. Nathan. He was across the room with Vanessa, both dripping in designer everything, working the room like they owned it. Vanessa looked exactly as Lydia had imagined. Polished, sharp, beautiful, in a way that took money and effort. We can leave, Adrian said quietly. No, I'm not running. That's when Nathan saw her. His eyes widened, took in the gown, the confidence, the man beside her. He whispered something to Vanessa, who turned to look. They approached like sharks scenting blood. Lydia? Nathan's voice was artificially warm. What a surprise. Nathan. You look different. I look like myself. And who's this? He looked at Adrian with the calculating expression Lydia remembered. Adrian Stone, Adrian said, extending his hand with perfect politeness. Nathan's face changed. Everyone knew Adrian Stone, the billionaire who'd revolutionized tech before retreating from public life. The genius, the philanthropist. The impossible get for any networking event. Mr. Stone, I'm Nathan Cole, Cole Enterprises. I know who you are, Adrian said coolly. Lydia's mentioned you. Has she? Nathan looked uncomfortable. Briefly, in passing. The way you mentioned something unfortunate that happened but doesn't matter anymore. Vanessa laughed nervously. Well, this is awkward. Is it? Lydia asked. I hadn't noticed. You're the artist? Vanessa said, clearly trying to process. These paintings are yours. I restored them. Brought them back from the dead. House and crafty. How valuable, Adrian corrected. Lydia's work is featured in galleries across the country. She's the most sought-after restoration artist on the West Coast. I didn't know you had such talent, Nathan said. You never asked. The tension was palpable. People were starting to notice, to whisper. We should go, Nathan said to Vanessa. Already? But we just got here. That's when Adrian did it. Pulled Lydia close, looked at her like she was the only person in the room, and said loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear, Have I told you today that you're everything? Only twice, she smiled. Not nearly enough then. He cupped her face with both hands, the tenderness in his touch making Lydia's eyes fill. You are the most remarkable woman I've ever known. You took my broken pieces and showed me how to build something new. You brought light back into my life. You are my masterpiece, Lydia Hart. Then he kissed her. Not for show, not to prove a point, but because he couldn't not kiss her. Because she was his everything, and everyone should know it. The room went silent. Cameras flashed. Whispers erupted. When they pulled apart, Lydia's eyes found Nathan's. He looked shattered, like he'd finally understood what he'd thrown away. Congratulations on your success, she said quietly. I hope it keeps you warm. She turned away, Adrian's arm around her, and walked toward her paintings. People approached them, critics, collectors, admirers. Adrian introduced her proudly, his hand never leaving hers. Nathan and Vanessa left within the hour. You okay? Adrian asked later as they danced. I'm perfect. Even after seeing him, especially after seeing him, I realized something. What? He did me a favor. By breaking your heart? By setting me free. If he hadn't left, I'd never have found you. I'd never have found myself. Adrian spun her, brought her back close. Thank you. For what? For being brave enough to love again. For choosing me. Thank you for being worth choosing. They danced until the music stopped, two souls who'd found each other not in spite of their damage, but because of it. Subscribe if you believe the right person will see your true value. The next morning, their kiss was in the social pages. Billionaire Adrian Stone's new love, the headlines read. But the articles focused more on Lydia's art than her relationship, Adrian's influence ensuring she was recognized for her talent, not just as his girlfriend. Nathan called that afternoon. Don't hang up, he said quickly when she answered. What do you want, Nathan? To apologize. Too late. Lydia, seeing you last night, I realized what I lost. No, you realized what you threw away. There's a difference. I was young, stupid, ambitious. You were cruel. I know, I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry that I ended up with someone better? That's not fair. Fair? Nathan, you left me with nothing. No money, no confidence, no faith in love. And you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. How can you say that? Because losing you taught me my worth wasn't determined by you. It never was. I just couldn't see it when I was trying so hard to be what you wanted. I loved you. No, you loved the idea of me, the supportive wife who'd never outshine you, but that was never who I was. Adrian sees who I really am. The billionaire. The man. The one who brings me coffee every morning. Who celebrates my successes instead of being threatened by them. Who sees my ambition as beautiful, not competitive. Who loves me not in spite of my damage, but because it makes me who I am. I could be that. No, Nathan, you couldn't. Because being that requires seeing beyond yourself, and you're not capable of that. That's harsh. That's honest. Something I learned to be after you left. So there's no chance? Nathan, there was no chance the moment you looked at me and decided I wasn't enough. I just didn't know it yet. She hung up. Adrian was standing in the doorway. How much did you hear? Enough. And I love you more for not being cruel to him. You could have been. What would be the point? He's already living his punishment. Which is? A life without depth, without real love, without someone who sees his soul instead of his success. Adrian pulled her close. I love you. I love you too. Marry me. She pulled back, shocked. What? Marry me. Not because I need to possess you or claim you, but because I want to promise you publicly that I will spend every day seeing you, celebrating you, choosing you. Adrian, I know it's fast, I know we both have baggage, but Lydia, I've learned that time is precious and uncertain. I don't want to waste any more of it being careful. You're serious. I bought the ring 3 months ago. I've been carrying it around, waiting for the perfect moment, but last night, seeing you face your past with such grace, I realized there's no perfect moment. There's just now. He pulled out a small velvet box, opened it. The ring was simple, elegant, a sapphire surrounded by small diamonds. Nothing like the ostentatious diamond Vanessa had worn. It's perfect, Lydia whispered. Is that a yes? That's an absolutely. He slipped the ring on her finger, kissed her with all the promise of their future. They married 6 months later on the beach behind their house. Small, intimate, just close friends and chosen family. Lydia wore a simple white dress that moved like water. Adrian cried when he saw her walking toward him. Margaret officiated, having gotten ordained online specifically for the occasion. Do you, Adrian, take Lydia to be your wife, to see her, celebrate her, and choose her every day in all her magnificent imperfection? I do. Do you, Lydia, take Adrian to be your husband, to see him, celebrate him, and choose him every day in all his beautiful damage? I do. Then by the power vested in me by the internet and the state of California, I pronounce you married. Kiss already. They did, as the sun set over the ocean, their friends cheering, their hearts full. Nathan sent a wedding gift, an expensive vase with a generic card. Lydia donated it to charity. No room for the past in our future, she told Adrian. Only room for us. 5 years later, Lydia stood in her own gallery, 8 months pregnant, watching people admire her work. Not restorations this time, but original pieces, seascapes inspired by the view from their home, portraits of hands, Adrian's, worn from years of typing but gentle in their touch. You did it, Adrian said, his hand on her belly where their daughter kicked. We did it. No, love, this is all you. None of this would exist without you believing in me. You would have found your way. Maybe differently, but you would have risen. It's who you are. Nathan appeared in the doorway, older, thinner, alone. Vanessa had left him 2 years ago for someone richer. Should I ask him to leave? Adrian whispered. No. Let him see. Nathan approached slowly, taking in the gallery, the paintings, Lydia glowing with pregnancy and success. Congratulations, he said quietly. Thank you. The work is beautiful. I know. You're happy. I am. I'm glad. He looked at Adrian. You're a lucky man. I'm a grateful man, Adrian corrected. Luck implies chance. I chose Lydia. I choose her every day. Nathan nodded, understanding finally what he'd never been capable of. I should go. Yes, Lydia agreed. You should. He left, shoulders bent with the weight of his choices. You okay? Adrian asked. Perfect. He's a ghost now, nothing more. And what am I? My present, my future, my everything. They stayed until the gallery closed, Lydia leaning against Adrian, their unborn daughter between them, surrounded by art born from pain transformed into beauty. No regrets, Adrian asked. How could I regret the path that led me to you? Even the painful parts? Especially those. They taught me the difference between someone who loves the idea of you and someone who loves the reality of you. And which am I? You're the one who sees me covered in paint and thinks I'm beautiful, who celebrates my successes like they're your own, who understands that my damage is part of my story, not something to be fixed or hidden. You're the one who brought me back to life, Adrian said, who showed me that loss doesn't mean the end of love, just a transformation of it. We saved each other. No, we chose each other. There's a difference. What's the difference? Saving implies one was drowning. Choosing means we both decided to swim, together. Their daughter was born on a stormy night, much like the one that had first brought them together physically. Adrian held Lydia's hand through every contraction, whispered how strong she was, how proud he was, how loved she was. When Elena Rose Stone, named for Adrian's first wife and Lydia's grandmother, finally arrived, both parents cried. "She's perfect," Adrian whispered. "She's ours," Lydia corrected. Same thing. As they held their daughter, Lydia thought about the journey that had brought them here. The heartbreak with Nathan that had seemed like the end of everything. The loneliness that had felt infinite. The fear that she'd never be enough for anyone. All of it had been preparing her for this, for Adrian, for Elena Rose, for a love that didn't diminish her, but amplified her. "Thank you," she told Adrian. "For what?" "For seeing me when I couldn't see myself. Thank you for being worth seeing." They brought Elena Rose home to the house that had once been a tomb and was now filled with light, laughter, and life. The restoration complete. And in the end, that's what love really was. Not finding someone perfect, but finding someone whose broken pieces fit with yours to create something whole. Nathan would learn about their daughter from the business section of the newspaper, announcing the Stone Foundation's new program for single mothers, pursuing art careers, funded by Adrian and directed by Lydia. He'd sit in his empty office, in his empty success, and finally understand the price of choosing image over substance, status over soul, ambition over love. But Lydia wouldn't think of him at all. She'd be too busy living the life she'd always deserved, with a man who saw her value not in what she could do for him, but in who she was. The billionaire who kissed her that night at the gala hadn't been proving a point or marking territory. He'd simply been unable to contain his love for one more second. And that made all the difference. 3 months after Elena Rose was born, Lydia received an unexpected call. "Mrs. Stone, this is Patricia Morrison, Vanessa's mother." Lydia almost hung up, but curiosity won. "How can I help you?" "I wanted to apologize for my daughter, for what she did to your marriage. My ex-marriage, and Vanessa did me a favor." "That's generous of you. It's honest. If Nathan hadn't left me for your daughter, I'd never have found my actual life." Patricia was quiet for a moment. "She left him, you know. Vanessa found someone with more money, better connections." "I'm not surprised. Nathan's been calling our house, begging for another chance. It's pathetic." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I saw the photos from the gala, that kiss, the way Adrian Stone looks at you, and I realized something." "What?" "My daughter will never have that. She doesn't know how to love, only how to acquire. I failed her somehow, raising her to value things over people." "We all make choices, Mrs. Morrison." "Yes, and some of us teach our children to make the wrong ones. You have a daughter now?" "Yes." "Teach her to recognize real love. It's rarer than money." The call ended, leaving Lydia thoughtful. She found Adrian in the nursery, reading to Elena Rose from a financial report. "She needs to learn early," he said defensively when Lydia laughed. "She's 3 months old." Never too early for financial literacy. Lydia took their daughter, settled into the rocking chair. Vanessa's mother called. Adrian's eyebrows rose. "Why?" "To apologize, and to tell me Vanessa left Nathan. Karma." "That's what I thought, but then I felt sad for him." "You're too kind." "No, I just remember loving him, or thinking I did, before I knew what love actually was." Adrian knelt beside the chair, his hand on Elena Rose's tiny head. "What is love, actually? It's you reading financial reports to our infant daughter. It's morning coffee without being asked. It's celebrating my first gallery showing more than your own billion-dollar deal. That gallery showing was more important. To the world? To me. My deals are just numbers. Your art is soul made visible. This was the difference. Nathan had needed her to be less so he could feel like more. Adrian wanted her to be everything she could be, because her light didn't diminish his, it enhanced it. The local newspaper wanted to do a feature on them. From heartbreak to happiness, the artist who found love after loss. We don't have to, Adrian said. I want to. Other women need to know. Know what? That leaving isn't losing. Sometimes it's winning. The interview was published with photos from Lydia's gallery, their wedding, and one candid shot Adrian had taken of Lydia painting while pregnant, lost in her work, glowing with purpose. The headline read, "She lost a husband, but found herself." Nathan saw it at a coffee shop, alone at a corner table. The barista, not recognizing him, commented, "Beautiful couple. She looks so happy." She does, Nathan agreed quietly. He read every word. How Lydia described finding herself after divorce, how Adrian talked about her talent with awe, how they'd built something together based on mutual respect and admiration. The last paragraph gutted him. "My ex-husband thought I wasn't enough for his new life. Turns out he wasn't enough for my real life. I needed someone who could see my value, not my usefulness. Adrian sees me. That's the difference between possession and partnership." Nathan left the newspaper on the table, walked to his empty apartment, and finally understood the cost of his choices. Meanwhile, Lydia was teaching art to underprivileged kids through the foundation, Adrian beside her, Elena Rose in a carrier on his chest. "You don't have to come," Lydia said. "I know you have that Tokyo call. Reschedule it. Adrian, it's a $100 million deal. And this is my family. Easy choice." The kids loved him, this billionaire who sat on the floor, got paint on his designer jeans, and treated their artwork like it belonged in the Louvre. "Mr. Adrian?" one little girl asked. "Are you rich?" "Yes." "Why?" Adrian thought about it. "I'm rich because I have Mrs. Lydia and Elena Rose. The money is just numbers." "That's not what my dad says rich means." "What does your dad say?" "That rich means having lots of stuff." "Your dad's measuring wrong. Rich means having people who love you. Everything else is just decoration." Lydia watched him help the children, patient and kind, and fell in love all over again. This was what Nathan could never understand. True power wasn't in dominating others, but in lifting them up. That evening, as they drove home, Eleanor Rose sleeping in her car seat, Lydia said, "You were wonderful with those kids. They remind me to see things simply. Love, art, joy, the things that matter." Nathan called again. Adrian's hands tightened on the wheel slightly. What did he want? To know if we could meet, to talk. "And?" I said no. "There's nothing to say. You could have closure." "I have closure. It's you. It's this life. It's everything he couldn't give me because he was too busy taking." They drove in comfortable silence, the setting sun painting the ocean gold. "I love you," Adrian said suddenly. "I love you too." "No, I mean, I love you more than I loved Elena." "Is that wrong?" Lydia reached for his hand. "It's not more, it's different. She was your first chapter. I'm your second. The book is richer for having both." "You don't mind being second?" "I'm not second. I'm next. There's a difference. You always see the difference in things. It's an artist's eye. We're trained to see nuance. What nuance do you see in us?" "I see two people who thought their love stories were over, writing a new one together, with better vocabulary this time." Adrian laughed, brought her hand to his lips. "Much better vocabulary." A year later, at Elena Rose's first birthday party, surrounded by friends who'd become family, Lydia stood to make a toast. "A year ago, this little girl made us parents, but we'd already been reborn before her. Adrian, you brought me back to life after I thought my story was over. You showed me that love isn't about being enough for someone. It's about being everything to the right someone. Adrian stood, Elena Rose on his hip, reaching for the rainbow cake with chubby fingers. Lydia, you didn't just bring me back to life. You gave me a new one. Better, richer, more beautiful than anything I'd imagined. You and Elena Rose are proof that sometimes life saves the best chapters for last. Their guests raised glasses, but Lydia only had eyes for her family. Her real family. The one built on choice, not chance. Later, as they cleaned up, Adrian said, "Nathan sent something." Lydia looked up from the dishes. "What?" "A trust fund. For Elena Rose. $1 million. "What? Why?" His note said, "For the family I could have had if I'd been a better man." Lydia stared at the document. "We can't accept this." "Why not?" "It feels like blood money. Or it could be his one good action, his attempt at making something right." "Nothing can make it right." "No, but maybe this is his way of ensuring Elena Rose never doubts her worth the way he made you doubt yours." Lydia considered this. "We donate half to the foundation, for single mothers' education." "Perfect. Turn his regret into someone else's opportunity." "You're not bothered by it? Him inserting himself this way?" "Lydia, he can send all the money in the world. It doesn't change the fact that I wake up beside you, that Elena Rose calls me daddy, that our life is real while his is just regret." That night, as they watched Elena Rose sleep, Lydia said, "I forgive him." "Nathan?" "Yes, not for him, for me. Carrying anger is heavy, and I want my hands free for holding you both." Adrian pulled her close. "You're remarkable. I'm tired, and happy, and free. The best combination." 5 years passed. Elena Rose started school, bright and confident, with her mother's artistic eye and her father's analytical mind. Lydia's gallery expanded to New York. Adrian's company went public again, this time with Lydia ringing the opening bell beside him. "You didn't have to include me," she said after. "You're my partner in everything." Nathan watched the coverage from his office. Alone, successful but empty. He'd built the empire he'd wanted, but it was a kingdom of one. He never remarried. How could he? Every woman he met he compared to Lydia. Not the Lydia he'd left, the quiet, accommodating girl, but the Lydia she'd become. Or maybe always was, just waiting for someone to see her. The final time their paths crossed was at Elena Rose's piano recital. Nathan was there for his business partner's daughter. He didn't know Lydia's daughter attended the same school. She walked in with Adrian, elegant in her success, radiant in her happiness. Elena Rose ran to them, a perfect blend of her parents, Adrian's dark hair, Lydia's expressive eyes. "Mommy, Daddy, you came." "We'd never miss it, sweetheart," Adrian said, lifting her up. Nathan watched them find seats, a unit, complete. The family he'd thrown away for an image that turned out to be a mirage. After the recital, Elena Rose played beautifully. Lydia's eyes never left her daughter. Pride, love, contentment radiating from her. As they were leaving, Nathan stepped forward. "Lydia." She turned, no surprise on her face. "Nathan, your daughter is talented." "Yes, she is. She looks like you. She looks like herself." Adrian's hand found Lydia's waist, not possessive, just present. "Ready to go home?" "Almost." She looked at Nathan. "I hope you find peace, Nathan, really. I had it once. I just didn't know it." "No, you had me. Peace is different. Peace is internal. You can't find it in another person. You have to build it yourself." "Did you build it?" "Yes, brick by brick. Adrian helped with the foundation, but the structure is mine." Nathan nodded, understanding finally. "You're happy. I'm whole. There's a difference." "What's the difference?" "Happy depends on circumstances. Whole just is." She walked away, her family beside her, leaving Nathan with the truth he'd spent years avoiding. He'd had gold and traded it for glitter. Now the glitter had worn off and the gold belonged to someone who knew its worth. The last entry in Nathan's journal, found after his death from a heart attack at 52, alone in his office, read, I see her sometimes, in magazines, in the news, living the life I was too blind to value. She glows now in a way she never did with me. Maybe that's my punishment, knowing I had the sun and chose fluorescent lights instead. Adrian Stone isn't lucky. He's smart. He saw what I missed, that Lydia wasn't someone to be improved or hidden. She was someone to be treasured. I hope someday someone treasures me the way I should have treasured her, but I doubt it. People like me don't inspire treasure. We inspire transactions, and in the end, transactions leave you bankrupt in all the ways that matter. Lydia never knew about the journal. She was too busy living, loving, creating. Her second pregnancy, twin boys, was celebrated with joy, not anxiety. Adrian read to them in utero, practiced diaper changes on dolls, painted the nursery himself with Elena Rose's help. "You're going to be an amazing big sister," he told Elena Rose. "Like Mommy's an amazing mommy?" "Exactly like that." "And you're an amazing daddy?" "I try to be." "You don't try. You just are." From the mouths of babes, truth. The twins were born on a clear spring morning. Adrian cried harder than he had at Elena Rose's birth. "Why more tears?" Lydia asked, exhausted but euphoric. "Because now I know how much love is possible. With Elena Rose, I was learning. Now I know, and it's overwhelming." They named them Gabriel and Raphael, angels, Lydia joked, though they'd proved to be lovable chaos. The house filled with more noise, more love, more life. Adrian converted his home office to a playroom. Board meetings were scheduled around school plays. $1 million deals were celebrated less than finger paintings. "You've changed," his business partner observed. "I've prioritized," Adrian corrected. "Same thing." "No. Change implies I'm different. Prioritizing means I finally know what matters." What mattered was coming home to find Lydia covered in paint, teaching Elena Rose to mix colors while the twins napped. What mattered was Sunday mornings in bed, all 5 of them, reading stories and eating pancakes. What mattered was Lydia's smile when he brought her coffee. Still, after all these years, exactly how she liked it. "No regrets?" Lydia asked on their 10th anniversary, standing where they'd married, renewing their vows with their children as witnesses. "Only one." "What?" "That I didn't find you sooner. You found me exactly when we were both ready. Sooner, and we'd have been different people." "You're right, as always. I'm an artist. I see the big picture." "What do you see in our picture?" "I see a masterpiece, painted over old canvases, but richer for the layers underneath." Adrian kissed her as the sun set, their children cheering, their love complete. The story could end here, with happiness secured and love triumphant. But life is longer than stories, and love is daily, not just dramatic. Years later, when Elena Rose brought home her first boyfriend, Adrian panicked. "She's too young." "She's 17, Lydia laughed. "Too young." "How old were you when you met Eleanor?" "That's different." "How?" "I had good intentions." "So might he." "What if he's like Nathan?" Lydia put down her brush, walked over to her husband. "Then she'll survive it, learn from it, and find her Adrian, but I don't think she will." "Why not?" "Because we've shown her what real love looks like. She knows the difference." She was right. Elena Rose knew the difference, saw it daily in how her parents treated each other. Respect, admiration, partnership, joy. She wouldn't settle for less. The boys grew strong and kind, protective of their mother, respectful of their father. They learned that strength wasn't dominance but gentleness, that success wasn't money but connection. When Lydia won the National Art Award, Adrian flew the entire family to the ceremony. "This is too much," she protested. "It's not enough. Nothing will ever be enough to show you what you mean to me." In her acceptance speech, Lydia thanked many people, but most of all, my husband, Adrian, who sees me not as his wife, but as myself, who never asked me to be less so, he could be more, who celebrates my victories as his own, and my children, who remind me daily that art isn't just what we hang on walls, it's the life we create together. Nathan wasn't there to hear it. He'd been gone 2 years by then. But Vanessa was, now married to her third husband, watching from the back, wondering why her life felt so empty, despite having everything she thought she wanted. After the ceremony, she approached Lydia. "Congratulations." "Thank you. You won." "Won what?" "The life. The real life. I got the money, the status, the connections. But you got the life. It wasn't a competition, wasn't it?" "No. It was a choice. I chose love. You chose other things. I chose wrong. You chose what mattered to you at the time. How are you so generous? I stole your husband. You freed me. There's a difference." Vanessa studied Lydia, the confidence, the peace, the joy that seemed to emanate from her. Could we be friends?" Lydia considered this. "No, but I wish you well, really." It was the kindest rejection Vanessa had ever received, and the most honest. The twins graduated high school as valedictorians, both going to Yale like their sister. Adrian and Lydia sat in the auditorium, hands linked, watching their boys give speeches about resilience, creativity, and the power of unconditional love. "We did good," Adrian whispered. "We did perfect. Nothing's perfect. This moment, this life, this love." He kissed her temple. "You're right. It's perfect." Their empty nest wasn't empty long. Lydia filled it with new art projects. Adrian filled it with the sound of video calls to their kids. They filled it together with deeper love, afternoon adventures, morning coffee that stretched into noon. "Any regrets now?" Adrian asked on their 20th anniversary. "None. You?" "I regret every moment before you, all the wasted years thinking success meant money instead of meaning." "Those weren't wasted. They were preparation." "For what?" "For appreciating this. If we'd both had easy loves before, would we value this as much?" "I'd value you in any timeline." "But would you see me? Really see me? Or would I just be another good thing in a life of good things?" Adrian considered this. "You're right. The breaking made us appreciate the mending. The breaking made us us." They were sitting in their gallery, theirs now. Adrian had insisted on the joint ownership, surrounded by Lydia's work. Paintings of their life together, Elena Rose's first steps, the twins' baptism. Adrian reading to all 3 children, moments made eternal through art. "What will you paint next?" Adrian asked. "This." "What's this?" "Us. Now. Older, wiser, still choosing each other. We're not that old. Old enough to know better, young enough to still feel it all." "Feel what?" "The miracle of being seen, known and loved anyway." That painting would become her most famous. 2 people sitting close, comfortable in their silence and their connection. It wasn't dramatic or passionate. It was something better. It was real. The story ends not with drama, but with life. Real life. The kind where love isn't a rescue but a choice made daily. Where success is measured in laughter at dinner tables, not numbers in bank accounts. Where a woman who was told she wasn't enough became everything, not because a billionaire kissed her at a gala, but because she finally believed in her own worth. And somewhere, perhaps, Nathan's spirit finally understood. He hadn't lost Lydia to Adrian Stone. He'd lost her to herself. And that self, finally free, had chosen love that multiplied rather than diminished her. The kiss at the gala hadn't been the ending. It had been the beginning of a life where love meant growth, where partnership meant equality, where happiness wasn't performed but lived. Every morning Adrian still brought Lydia coffee. Every morning she still smiled like it was the first time. Because love, real love, makes every day feel like the first day and the last day and all the days in between. Worth everything. Worth the wait. Worth the pain that led to the joy. Worth being seen.